97.3 Citi FM. Relevant radio, always.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Business Today with me, Vivian Kai Lokko. This afternoon we're interviewing the Managing Director of Fidelity Bank, Effah. Now the bank did very well for the 2015 financial year against many other banks that were not doing so well. We'll find out what led to this impressive performance. What were the challenges along the line? Economic challenges, external challenges. Did they have any impact on the operations, etc.? We'll find all that from the MD of the bank. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to Business Today.
Good afternoon.
Now, your bank did very well for 2015, doing over 100% of what you recorded in 2014. What led to this impressive performance?
We were able to grow our profits from 112 million to 205 million in 2015, and a number of factors contributed towards this. As you are aware, we acquired ProCredit in 2014, and in 2015 we saw significant growth in our business from both personal customers and from the SME sector. So the additional 25 branches we acquired contributed significantly towards the growth in the deposit portfolio. We also launched a number of campaigns. There was the Save for Gold campaign, we had an airtime campaign, and these campaigns have all helped in bringing in incremental business and additional customers. So we currently have nearly 1 million customers, and that is from about 600,000 customers about a year and a half ago. So all that has contributed towards our growth in 2015.
Now, a lot of banks were affected by the power crisis as well as economic challenges. Did you also have similar challenges in coming up with your impressive?
Yes, all banks have been affected by the difficult economic circumstances. In the last 3 years, we've seen the country implementing a number of austere measures, increases in utility prices, abolition of deregulation of the petroleum sector, and austerity measures by the government. The power crisis affected everybody, and so we saw a number of SMEs and large corporates having to spend a lot of money on power. We have seen a significant increase in the non-performing loan sector and the energy, oil and gas sector. And these are monies payable by VRA, ECG and other power utilities. So we've also seen a deterioration of loans from the BDCs. This is a public issue. It's out in the public sector. And again, this is because the government owes the BDCs foreign exchange losses and under recoveries, and so the BDCs are unable to pay their loans to government. But I believe this is being resolved through the Energy Sector Levy Act, which has been passed, and we hope that by the end of the year a lot of progress would have been made towards its resolution.
Right. Now, if it's kind of across quite a number of local banks, they're also talking about the same issue with the BDCs, and many of them are trying to avoid giving out loans for 2016. Will we see a similar situation from your bank?
The different banks have different exposures. In the energy, oil and gas sector, the different banks have different exposures to Temoil Refinery, to VRA, to ECG, to Gridco, and even within the same entity, some loans are current, some loans are not. So it depends on how you structure the loans. So I think it's very difficult to generalize.
Right. But let's move away from the NPL. But before I do that, so in general, what are you doing to push down those figures for 2016?
Which figures?
The NPL, what you have recorded.
Oh, we are focusing a lot on recoveries. I think the bank is focusing significantly on recoveries in 2016 as opposed to expanding our loan book. So we're working very hard to recover a lot of outstanding loans.
Now, we've seen quite a number of banks also increase their charges in terms of fees and commissions due to, the cost and appreciation and the challenges we're seeing. Is Fidelity Bank having any intentions to do such similar moves, or you already increasing your fees and commissions?
I think it's difficult to generalize. We have different fees and charges in different segments of our business. Some of them are affected by power, some of them are affected by other costs which have gone up. So we will review each area and take a view depending on the economic circumstances. So, for example, if the city depreciates and you are buying ATMs, you will probably have to increase your pricing for ATMs because the city has depreciated. If the city is stable, you may not have to. So these are all the issues we take into account in pricing. But as of now, we don't have any plans to increase our pricing, but we could decide in 3 months' time we need to increase this price because it's no longer economic. So we look at economic factors. In one case, for example, the taxes on cards went up, so we had to increase our card pricing, so at least we recover something for our shareholders.
Yeah. Your focus for this year is revenue growth. How do you intend to achieve that?
We do not plan significant growth in our revenues. This year we are focusing a lot on some recoveries, some cost cutting, building our infrastructure technology platform, and modest growth in revenues.
Right. Now, you also are going to give some amount of dividends to your shareholders. That's very interesting because we're seeing quite a number of banks not being able to do so. What are the figures we're looking at, and moving forward, what are your projections in terms of what shareholders can get from the bank?
Dividends are paid on the basis of what profit the bank makes, what statutory requirements are made to transfer to reserves, future working capital requirements, and on that basis we pay a dividend. If we look at our shareholders, they could have invested their money in treasury bills, in a house to earn rent, so it's important that we try and pay them something worth their while for making the investment. And those decisions, all these issues are taken into account in determining the level of dividend that we pay them. So we'll pay them something, and we will review it on a case-by-case basis, year by year, depending on the strength of the economy, depending on the needs of the business, and what we can afford to pay.
Now, some business players say the first half of this year has been quite stable, and they are hoping we will see that continue in the next quarters to come. Do you believe the same? And how has the stability relatively affected your operations?
We believe 2016 should be a stable year. As you're aware, we have seen stability with the power issue, so that should help business. We've seen the currency more stable. The CD is one of the best performing currencies over the last something like 6 months, and we hope that will continue. It's been at around 4 for quite a while now. We have seen the government improvement in the finances of the government. So the deficit is trending downwards. It was 7.1% in 2015, and we expect it will go down in 2016. So all these factors should augur well for the private sector. And we hope that will mean the economy will stabilize and take off soon.
Well, the election is coming up in November. Some businesses are saying they'll withhold investments because they cannot really gauge how things will go. Would it be the same for you?
Yes, I think in every election year one needs to take into account the election, but Ghana has had smooth elections year in, year out, so we're optimistic that we'll have a smooth election and there's no cause for alarm.
Now finally, we're told you want to invest heavily in technology. Why are you embarking on this move, and how much are we looking at?
We have embarked on a digital journey where we're seeing globally that people sit in their rooms, they deposit money, they transact. So we're investing heavily in our internet banking portal and platform. We're investing heavily in our corporate banking platform, in mobile banking, in POS, in a lot of technology that will enable our customers bank at their convenience without having to go to a branch. And this is a trend, it will continue, and we expect to see also a lot of fintech, financial technology coming into the market, so that you might be able to transfer money on Facebook and other things. So these new trends, it's important that we are positioned to be a leader in this area.
All right. Thank you very much. We've been speaking to the Managing Director of Fidelity Bank, Effah. We'll see you next week on Business Today. My name is Vivian Kai Lokko.